How's it going, super friends? Welcome back to my channel. 3 things. Today's video is going to be all about which DC Universe classics, my top 10 to be exact, DC Universe classics that I kinda wish that they would remake as multiverse figures with the new sculpts and bodies and articulation. Number 2 is I've been in contact with Jason Lansdowne, the highly talented DC fan who used to work at Mattel, unfortunately got laid off with a bunch of other people who his fingerprints are all over the previous wave of Mattel multiverse figures, that being the Collect and Connect Luthor wave, and also all over the soon coming Lobo wave of Mattel multiverse action figures. He's agreed to do an interview with me over Skype and answer a few questions for you fellow fans of his work and of the DC Multiverse. Now, of course, I could just come up with all the questions myself and just ask away, but I figured it would be a whole lot more fun if I included some of you super friends from the DC squad, got you in on it so that you could ask some questions yourself. 1, I figured maybe you would ask some questions that I just wouldn't think to ask. And number 2, it's so much more fun when everyone else can get involved. It becomes a much more positive experience when you get to have your questions answered by someone who's had their hands personally involved in something that you like or that you're invested in yourself. So if you have any burning questions that you'd like to ask Jason as someone who has had their fingers and input in the DC Multiverse line at Mattel, now's the time to ask him. And then number 3, don't pay any attention to my hair. I don't really know what's going on up there today. I woke up and it looked like this and I just said, "Puh," and left it. All right, so onto the list. Okay, so I've broken down my list into 2 categories, Collect and Connect and regular figures. And the figures that I'm suggesting could be Collect and Connect figures weren't Collect and Connect in the first place, but I think that they would be excellent candidates to become Collect and Connect. So now we will start, without further ado, for my top 10 action figures that used to be DC Universe classics that I would like to see them remake for the multiverse. Figure number 1 is Raven. I think Raven is a great character, and her action figure, it looks kind of cool. It's not a terrible figure. However, it was really limiting in what you could do for posability because she had that great big cape that just stuck up over her shoulders. I know it's a comic accurate thing. That's how she's supposed to look. That's what she looked like when she was doing her Raven thing. But I just really felt like the action figure either could have came with a second cape or not a cape like that. So I'd love to see Raven redone with a better sculpt, with better articulation, and most importantly, not with that cape. Number 2, Tim Drake. Now, we did get a Tim Drake in the all red Robin suit, and then we got him in the red Robin uniform, only he was, in my opinion, kind of tall, kind of big for Red Robin, but neither of those was the classic Tim Drake Robin suit. Yes, we also got a repaint of the same Tim Drake into the classic Tim Drake suit, but it was just still the red costumed Robin, just repainted. I'd like to see Tim Drake with a brand new sculpt in that classic first appearance Tim Drake Robin suit. I think that would be completely epic. And they do have the buck for it. I mean, hello, the soon coming Kid Flash figure, that's the buck they could use right there. Just add some more sculpting detail and whammo, you have a Tim Drake. Number 3, Plastic Man. I know we got that San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, which was really cool. It had a lot of really cool features and accessories, but I would love to see Plastic Man remade with the higher articulated multiverse body. The one that the Ray uses would be perfect. Just give us that extra bendable rubber neck as well as his accessory, and you're good to go. I think that he is a prime candidate, and you wouldn't even need to do that much. A new head, resculpt the belt, and you could get away with just painting on the rest of his detail, and I would personally be okay with it. So number 3, Plastic Man. Number 4, I would love to see Scarecrow redone. The DC superheroes saw a release of Scarecrow, and it was a good figure, but also not good. It was just really kind of weird. And then we also saw the DC Universe Classics release a Scarecrow in his Fear uniform as a Yellow Lantern, but it still wasn't classic enough for me. I just wanted a classic Scarecrow figure to fit with my Batman Rogues gallery, and in the end, I had to do a head swap. I had to take the head from the Yellow Lantern and put it on the body of the previous Scarecrow figure, and it's good, but it definitely could be better. And honestly, I would love to see a completely new sculpted Scarecrow figure. I'm not sure if we ever will because there'd be a lot of new sculpting parts, but I'm sticking to my guns. I want to see a brand new Scarecrow figure. Number 5, Cyborg Superman. The one we got, listen, it's okay. The sculpting detail is actually pretty good. It could be a bit more accurate, but it's okay. The reason why I'd like to see it remade is, for one, he's an awesome Superman rogue, and I think that he would sell like hotcakes. And then the other reason is because the sculpt is kind of strange when it comes to articulation. He was plagued by the same thing that Bizarro and Superman from the DC Superheroes line were all plagued with, and that's the weird kind of wide stance that once the groin goes, the legs split apart and you can't stand the characters up. And really, putting in those characters in any kind of flight pose, it just doesn't look right in my opinion, because the legs were just too far apart. So I would love to see the Cyborg Superman recolor decoed from the mute colors into the brighter colors with the new articulation and some new sculpting detail done for the multiverse. I think he is a prime candidate for a brand new multiverse 6-inch scale action figure, don't you think? And now I'm just going to quickly jump over to the next three, which will be collect and connect, before I go back to my final two regular figures. So number 6, Big Barda. Hello? How many of us have said that Big Barda is really small? Like just not accurate at all. Like, she's more like little Barda, like teenage Barda, shorter than Mr. Miracle Barda. The thing is, I think she'd work great as a collect and connect figure for one of their upcoming waves. One, we'd have a chance to have a Big Barda that was corrected in size, which would be amazing. And reason number 2 is, wouldn't it be cool to have that updated articulation on a battle-ready Barda figure with the pivot ankles, the double-jointed knees, and the head hopefully on a peg that also is on a hinge? That would be really awesome. Removable helmet, of course. No. Actually, one figure could come with Big Barda's head. That way, if you buy the whole wave, you get the entire figure. But then, much like Harley Quinn and Spoiler, you could have another figure that's not really part of the wave come with Big Barda's other head that doesn't have the helmet. That would be perfect. So yeah, I would love to see Big Barda redone for the multiverse line. I think she is an amazing choice. Figure number 7 and number 2 for my collect and connect section is, I would love to see Killer Croc redone. Sure, we have the Killer Croc from the DC Superheroes and then the predating that Batman line. However, they never released a Killer Croc for the DC Universe Classics. That means we never got a Killer Croc with any kind of good articulation whatsoever. And I always felt like that was a real big crime to the Bat family. Like, here we were getting figures like Cobra, but we weren't getting a staple in the Bat villains like Killer Croc. He would have been perfect for a collect and connect back in the day. That makes him a prime candidate today for a collect and connect figure. That's what we need. The world needs another Killer Croc, comic accurate Killer Croc, to put with the rest of their 6-inch scale multiverse and DC Universe Classics Bat Rogue gallery. So number 7, Killer Croc. Number 8, and my third in the Collect and Connect series, would be Bane. Yes, DC Superheroes did give us a Bane figure that was very cool, but he suffered from that wide stance as well. And we didn't just get him once. They gave him to us twice, because the second time he was redecoed with camouflage pants. That's the one that I have. Not the camouflage pants, but I had the original DC Superheroes version. There was another Bane, but he was a collect and connect, and in my opinion, he was just a little bit too big. Great figure, yes. Too big? Also yes. Just my opinion, but when I stand him next to Batman, he just seemed too mutantly huge. Like, okay, he takes the venom and he gets all big and muscly, but there's no reason for his bone structure to get that big too. The guy is just massive. So I never did get the Collect and Connect Bane. I just felt like he was too big. He is another prime candidate to become a Collect and Connect figure for a wave of multiverse figures. So number 8 and number 3 for my Collect and Connect, Bane. Okay, so we're down to the final 2 I want to mention. To me, they're obviously the most important. And I can't really give them any particular order because I think that they're both equally as much in need of being remade as the other. So I'm just gonna say them in whatever order comes out of my mouth. So the first one is Superman. I think that fans have been begging for a classic suited Superman with the trunks, the belt, with the loops, a big red S on the chest, sculpted on the boots here. I think that that's what fans have been asking for so long, in a nice, brilliant blue color, a nice bright red, and we've just never got it. And I don't think that we've ever been completely happy with the head sculpt either. There have been some that have been better than others for a classic contemporary Superman, but I don't think any of them have really ever just hit that nail right on the head. And so I feel like if Mattel was to release a Superman figure in the blue more akin to the Multiverse Super Friends Superman, which we all know really was just Mattel making the Superman that they should have put inside of the package of the Super Friends 30th anniversary, a red and blue that is more akin to that, only with the articulation of the current multiverse, so you can get him into some rad flight poses with the neck on a hinge and a ball peg, double jointed knees, ankle pivots. We're talking about a Superman figure that, and as long as they don't bung up the cape, we're talking about a Superman figure that could really sell really well and be the flagship of a wave of figures, no problem. I think making him, along with making the next figure I'm going to mention, are both just a complete and total no-brainer. They just have to be made. Now the final character, since I picked Superman now, obviously, the last one I'm going to mention is going to be Batman. I think that it is high time that we had a remade version of Batman. A classic Batman. A gray and black giant bat on the chest, pouch belt around his waist, trunks, Batman. DC Universe Classics, much like with Superman, did make some very good Batman figures. However, a lot of fans, much like with Superman, felt like they never really gave us what we really wanted, which is why Superman and Batman are the two most customized DC characters, I believe, of all time. They're the ones that I see the most. More people take a crack at making Batman than any other character I've seen. And when people send me messages on Instagram about custom work, Batman is the one that they're asking me for tips about the absolute most. And so in my opinion, it just would make sense that you would make a Batman figure with the upgraded articulation in that classic black and gray deco that everyone seems to be pretty much in agreement with. If it's not their most favorite look, they definitely like that look. And much like with Superman, I feel like he would sell so well that it's just a no-brainer on Mattel's part to make him the flagship of another wave of multiverse figures. Heck, you could put that Collect and Connect Killer Croc that we were talking about previously in the Batman wave. Ah, that would be perfect. Get on it, Mattel. Get on it. And that is my top 10 list of DC Universe Classics figures I would love to see remade in the multiverse line. They're characters I feel like we are all, as DC fans, long overdue, and I feel like with the new multiverse articulation and a little bit of sculpting here and there where needed, where is justifiable with the figure, I feel like they could just knock these characters out of the park and they would do nothing but help the multiverse line continue on for many more waves to come. If only they could get that quality control stuff under control, then they'd be laughing. But yeah, that is it. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Remember, please leave any questions you would have for Jason Langston down in the comment section below, because I'm gonna go through them, and the ones that I can use, the ones that he can answer, we're gonna go through in the Skype video, and it's gonna be really, really fun. I might make another video just asking for people to ask their questions as well, just in case people who would want to ask him something would not be interested in this video. So for those of you who made it this far, be prepared. There will likely be another video where I ask people to send their questions in to Jason so that they don't miss out. I hate it when people miss out. I hate it when I miss out on stuff that I know I would have liked to do. So yeah, there'll be one more video that'll be just dedicated to mentioning, hey, send in some questions for Jason, and he and I are gonna have a little interview, and I will pass along your questions to him. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like on it. Subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. Ding the bell so you never miss a video, and I will see you next time, super friends. Take care.